Tyson Fury is very likely to be stripped of the Ring Magazine title on the 28th of this month. Now, you've probably heard Tyson Fury say the only way you can win and lose the Ring Magazine title is in the ring. That used to be true. That used to be one of the rules. The other rule was if the Ring Magazine champion retired, the number 1 and 2 contenders in the division, or in some cases number 1 and number 3 contenders in the division, had to fight in order to get the Ring Magazine title. And that was the only rules there were. And this changed in 2012. There's a bunch of new rules now around the Ring Magazine. They changed the rules because there was a lot of weight divisions that the Ring Magazine title was vacant for, because it's a bit hard to get the Ring Magazine belt. I mean, you have to be a good fighter to get the Ring Magazine belt. So what the rule changes, one of the rule changes that's going to come into effect at the 28th of May this month, is you have to fight or have a fight scheduled within 18 months of winning the belt, and that 18-month period will end on the 28th of this month. Now that sounded a little bit ambiguous to me. Does that mean that Tyson Fury has to fight within then, or does that mean Tyson Fury could not fight in perpetuity just by scheduling fights and then pulling out of fights and scheduling fights and pulling out of fights? So in other words, would the Wladimir Klitschko fight schedule last year count as a fight scheduled? And the answer is no. You have to have a fight scheduled. Tyson Fury has to have a fight scheduled by the very latest 28th of this month, and he has to follow through with it as well. And if he did pull out of that fight, again, he would lose the belt at the end of the time of pulling out of that fight, if you understand what I mean. I mean, he can get away with scheduling a fight on the 28th of this month, pulling out with an injury as long as it's rescheduled, but if he schedules a fight at the end of this month and doesn't follow through with it, then it doesn't count and he loses the belt. So hopefully the hearing goes well for his boxing ban to be lifted and he can get a fight scheduled. He can schedule a fight by the 28th of this month, and he can keep his Ring Magazine belt, which is what I think he's really training for and motivated for, obviously to prove a lot of people wrong about himself as well, and beat Anthony Joshua when he comes back. The other rules that might come into play, for example, Tyson Fury can schedule a fight with anybody, literally anybody in heavyweight division. Doesn't need to be a top 5 fighter in order to maintain being the Ring Magazine champion. But you've got a 2-year period after you win it as well. This is another new rule, that you have to fight a top 5 heavyweight ranked by Ring Magazine in order to maintain being the Ring Magazine champion. So that's 2 years, so 6 months. What is that? So that means by November he has to fight somebody in the top 5 or he'll lose the Ring Magazine belt as well. Now, what happens if Tyson Fury loses the Ring Magazine belt? If he doesn't schedule a fight and he loses it, well, it's like I said, it used to go to the number 1 contender and the number 2 contender. They would fight over it, who right now would be Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. They're ranked the number 1 and 2 contenders by the Ring Magazine. And in some circumstances, if the number 2 refused to fight the number 1 contender, it would go between the number 1 and the number 3 contender, which would be Anthony Joshua and Wladimir Klitschko. So that's very likely that will happen, because it looks like they're going to have a rematch at the very end of this year. So Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko is very likely to be a fight for the Ring Magazine title at the very end of this year. But if Wladimir Klitschko doesn't want the rematch, which still could happen, then the new rules, another new rule, is it can go to anybody that's in the top 5 contenders. I'm not sure who all is the top 5 contenders right now. I think it's Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder, I think Joseph Parker's in there, maybe Andy Ruiz or somebody as well, Kubrat, Pulev. he can schedule a fight with any one of these people. And this is one of the new rules, fighting somebody within the top 5 for the Ring Magazine title, that has kind of cheapened the Ring Magazine title in the eyes of a lot of people, and a lot of people were quite angry when these new rules came in 2012. So I just like to make some people aware of that, because I've not actually heard anybody talking about Tyson Fury being stripped at the end of this month. And it is in the rules, and it does look like it's going to happen if he doesn't get his license back very soon.